Hello. Ooh, I just got much brighter. Hello, friends. How are you? Get you a little bit closer to me. I am wondering if you can hear me. I think you can. I hope you can. I have never done this particular scheduling a live stream on YouTube before, so I appreciate you hanging in there with me for this learning curve time. If you are watching this on the replay, thank you for watching. You might want to hit pause and grab something to write with and something to write in and a beverage. That's optional. I have mine right here. Doesn't have to be wine though. It can be whatever you want. Tea would be great. We are going to talk about setting intentions for the year tonight. I started to do this for myself on New Year's Day, and I thought, you know what, I kind of want to share this with my community, and so that's why I scheduled this for the end of this ritual that I've been working through for the past few days. So I'm just going to kind of finish what I was doing and hope that it might serve you as you look towards this coming year and what you'd like it to be in your life. I talked about this a little bit on my Facebook page, but I just want to kind of reiterate really quickly the difference between resolutions and intentions. And it's sort of a minor difference in semantics and a huge difference in reality. So when we set a resolution, I feel like it's a goal. It's very specific. It's like a SMART goal. Did you guys ever hear the term SMART goal? I don't even remember what all those letters stand for. It's an acronym, but I know the M is measurable. They have to have a time limit. They're so defined. And for me, there's not necessarily anything wrong with those kind of goals, but for me in my life, they don't leave a lot of room for the magic. And the magic is where the magic happens because it's literally called the magic. So I feel like we want to let more of that in. And in order to do that, we want to leave space, right? Nature abhors a vacuum. If we leave the space, then something, and I believe for my life that's God, will come in and fill the space. And that's what I want. I want always to be making more of that space. So with that in mind, I like to set intentions for the new year. And if you followed Danielle Laporte, this is going to sound really familiar. And I have also followed her in the past and still do. I love her. She has kind of a similar idea, which is finding the way that you'd like to feel. So if your goal, if your resolution is to, work out every day, what are you hoping to feel when you are doing that thing? And it could be, it could be whatever. You have to kind of sit with it and decide what that feeling is. And then basically instead of focusing on the resolution, you're focusing on that feeling. And the beautiful thing about this is that it leaves all kinds of space for that feeling to arise in your life in ways that you didn't expect. So if your goal was to lose 20 pounds by May, and instead you set an intention to feel beautiful in your body, you might find a whole different avenue towards feeling good in your body that has nothing to do with losing 20 pounds. And then you've succeeded, right? Like you've met your goal of feeling beautiful in your body. And I think it's a more gracious way of I don't want to say planning your year because I don't think that's really what it is, but it's setting intentions. It's turning yourself in a direction, right? It's pointing you towards where you want to be going. So that's what we're doing tonight. So I'm obviously sitting in my bed, and I apologize if you hear downstairs my teenage son is watching playoff football. So if you hear any ecstatic yelling, you know why. So again, I just thought I'm going to do what I would normally do. I'm just going to bring you guys along for the ride, and hopefully part of this or all of it will appeal to you and you can set aside time to work on it as well this week. Also, one quick word before I do this about the new year. I think I want to say this carefully. I would like to challenge the notion that there is a set time that we need to do this thing, which is set intentions. I have been doing a lot of work getting out of diet culture and kind of leaving that stuff behind. And I think a big idea in diet culture is, well, I failed, so screw it, I'll start again on Monday. And then kind of throwing your diet out the window for the weekend, or, skipping the whole 30 on day 11 and just saying, well, I'll start on the 1st of next month. That kind of pushing off until the next like arbitrary newness happens. The reality is every single moment is new, and we can make change whenever we want, and we can decide our direction whenever we want. So maybe you're not watching this on New Year's, and that's fine. You can absolutely do this on March 17th or June 11th or August 4th or whatever day you damn well please. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, so I'm going to light a candle for us. I know this is backwards. I will read it to you. This is a beautiful candle that actually was made by my friend Brandy, who has a little candle company called Zen Elements Candle Company. And I believe you can buy her candles online. This one is amazing. It's called Cypress Bayberry, and it just smells like the most beautiful tree smell ever. I love it so much. So we're going to light a candle. I always light a candle when I'm doing work like this. I just feel like it kind of sets a tone. And I feel like it holds its own space in a different way than other light or no light would do. So we're going to light our candle. I'm going to put it over here to be beautifully burning. I'm going to grab my super fancy incense box. I love this one. I don't use this all the time. Like, it has a little door. It has like a secret compartment for your incense. If I could get it open, that would be useful. Oh, it's this way. No, it's not. It's this way. There we go. Okay. It has this little door that's very hard to open. I'll pull out, I forget what these are. Ooh. I don't know what that is. It's very clean smelling. So this kind, I love this kind. You pop it open. And then it's so beautiful. It has the little cone. And you can put your little cones on there. I don't have any cones right now. So you can put your stick in here and light it, and then close the top, and the smoke comes out the little hole, and it's so pretty. Okay, so I'm going to light this. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of dark. Yeah, you can't really see it. I can see it, but you can't. Anyway, trust me, there's smoke coming out of there, and it's very pretty. So we'll put that down here. I like to use scents and light pretty much always whenever I do any kind of ritual, but you should feel free to use whatever speaks to you. I often do things outside. Sometimes I'll use stones, sometimes I don't. I do have my salt lamp on too. I really like my salt lamp. So, do whatever you are drawn to do. And then I am going to pick a card too for us. So, this is the Work Your Light deck, Rebecca Campbell. This is the one that I just got for Christmas that I pulled a card for you guys from last week. So I'm just going to shuffle the deck until I feel like something is coming forward for us and what we need to hear, what will help us to set these intentions for this year, what will give us clarity, what will kind of guide us the best as we embark on this process. Almost have about time. See, what happens usually is one just kind of jumps out like that, and that's the one I usually go with. Okay. Let's see what this is. Ooh, this is appropriate. Okay, so I'm going to show you the artwork, although I know the writing is backwards. I will read that to you. The artwork on this deck is so beautiful. And I wish the color was correct, but it's the most beautiful pastel color story. It's really beautiful. So this woman was fully looking at the mountains, and there's a body of water down there. And it says, answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? So that's super appropriate as we set intentions for the new year. What is our soul calling us to do, and answer that call? Now, here's the only thing about this deck. It has, and I feel like I told you guys this when I drew the other card, but it has sections of the guidebook, and it doesn't number the cards, so you can't, at least I don't think it does. So you can't find the descriptions easily. Yeah, there's no number on there. And it's not in alphabetical order. So it's kind of tough to find it's kind of tough to find that. Okay. It's okay. We know what that means. What is your soul calling you to do? Just sit and meditate with that for a minute and see what pops up. It might surprise you. It might seem silly. And I would recommend that you just go with it. If you struggle with that, I get it. And I would highly recommend any book by Martha Beck because she was a very, let's say, science-minded type of person and really reluctantly came to the spirituality zone, I'll call it. And her stories of unavoidable guidance that she was given that she still sometimes managed to avoid, they're really, really good. They're really relatable, and I highly recommend her. So check out, I'm reading Expecting Adam right now. But Diana herself is a fantastic book for anyone to read, definitely. Okay, so let's set some intentions. And I want to, again, walk you through kind of what I already did, and then I might take a few minutes and do a little bit more on it. So I am a bullet journaler, and I imagine that you probably have some sort of a journal also. It doesn't have to be a bullet journal. It could be, just a regular old writing journal, or it could be an art journal, or whatever kind of journal you have. That's not so important. You could do this on a piece of paper for what it's worth. Again, you do what works for you. For me, everything goes in my bullet journal because that's how I can know where it is in the future. So here is my intention spread. I just wrote 2020, and then I have in this kind of purple boxes all around here, I have different areas of my life. And then I'm starting to write my intention words. So I feel like, and it kind of goes hand in hand with like picking a word for the year, which I think is great. Um, for me, it kind of gave me anxiety and a panic attack to pick one word for the entire year. That didn't feel like freedom to me. So I chose not to do that a few years back. Actually, it's been a while since I picked a word. So I'm just going to use one of these as an example, and I'll tell you what all my areas are. And again, my areas might not fit your life, and if that is the case, feel free to, tweak all this. So my areas are relationships, work, physical, money, fun, which I'll explain, and spirituality. So those are kind of the main areas I want to focus on. Fun is a little bit interesting because you'd think that would just be an intention to have fun, which it is definitely in my life. But lately, I have found that while I am really good at setting aside time for doing things that bring me joy, I'm still working on letting that joy overflow, letting that joy bubble up in me, and um, feeling that worthiness of that joy, if that makes any sense. So for me, writing fun as an area of my life just means that one of my intentions is to really pour into just limitless fun for fun's sake. I know how that affects the rest of my life. And so I just want to be very clear with myself that that is a valid and a vital, it's one of the most important things that I'm going to be focusing on this year. So I don't want to talk about that area though. I want to talk about physical. So this is a hang up for a lot of us. And so that's why I want to give it a little bit of time here. If I said that my intention was to lose weight or my intention was to work out or, something like that, eat better, eat clean or whatever you want to call it. I am coming out of what I consider to be an eating disorder, and it's been 12 years in the making. So I have had to be really honest with myself about what my relationship with my body really needs to be and what my actual goals are. Again, not goals, what my intentions are behind those goals. Like, why do I need to be smaller and why do I need to be this way and that way? And of course, once you start doing that, the whole castle kind of crumbles and you realize that, well, if I'm just trying to love myself, why can't I just do that right now? So I want to share with you a little story about just mindfulness and kind of how this stuff can bubble up really organically and really beautifully. So I wrote physical on that list, and then I really struggled with what words to write under that heading. And, lots of words were coming, and I was like, I just don't know. And then a funny thing happened. So I got a pair of socks. I'm going to show you them if I can. I'm wearing them right now. These are the socks. I'm going to do some yoga here. Okay. This is such a weird video. Okay. So I think they're called invisible socks or something like that. That's not right. They have a name, this type of sock. And basically, they're just cut really low on the foot. See that? So this is going to seem weird, but I got these socks as a gift and I thought they were strange. I'd never had a pair of socks like this before. And I put them on and I wore them around and I found myself moving differently in these socks. Something about them makes me feel graceful. Like I'm dancing around, even when I'm just walking around my kitchen doing the dishes or whatever. And Me of 6 months ago would not have noticed such a thing. And if I had noticed it, I would have laughed it off and called myself insane and, moved on. But the me of today knows better and says, oh, these socks and this kind of pants, I really like wide leg pants for the same reason. They make me feel like I'm moving through space differently and in a much more graceful, beautiful, authentic way for me. So I wrote graceful. I want to feel graceful. And I know that these socks and the wide leg pants are part of that movement towards feeling that way more often. And I'm excited now to see what else pops up into my awareness that also would make me feel that way. And so, again, if I had penned myself into losing weight or working out every day or whatever it is, I wouldn't have found that beautiful thing. And I think that's what we do when we set resolutions. We're just like backing ourselves into a corner, and there's a whole house available to us. So we're just like standing in the corner. It's just not who we are. So I am going to turn off the camera and I am going to continue to work on these areas. I have one word for each area right now. And I'm going to try and fill up this page. And again, you could do 2 areas, you could do 10 areas, you could do however many areas you want. And it doesn't have to look like this. You could, just make a list. It doesn't have to be all rainbow colors, like everything I do has to be rainbow colors, but that's just me. So, and I would encourage you to think of our card that we drew while you do it. What is my soul calling me to do? For me, the spirituality area is for sure going to have some words in what I think my soul is calling me to do. So I hope that you take a minute and do this exercise. And if you do, I hope that you'll share with us how it went and, ask us some questions or run some things by us or whatever you feel the need to do. We're here for you. Happy New Year. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.